everyone. I hope everything is going great for all of you out there. Alright, so here we are today to check out the Steel& Jones Cazadora 36, which is no stranger to us indie fans. For those who don't know what the Cazadora 36 is, it is Steel& Jones's version and reproduction of the elusive Raiders of the Lost Ark jacket from the Indiana Jones film series. So before we examine the jacket, let's backtrack and talk about the Raiders jacket itself. Okay, so for sure some of you are thinking, aren't all the leather jackets the same? Well, probably in headcanon they are. That's what I initially thought at first. But if you look closer though, each film features a different jacket. A lot of the indie fans have spotted out several differences of each jacket from each film, and several different versions of jackets used within a single film, depending on which scene. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, there are several jackets used. Fans have dubbed them as a hero jacket, the Hawaii jacket, the Bantuan jacket, and the truck jacket. We could thank the fans, gearheads, private collectors, and jacket makers in the Club Obi-Wan and the Fedora Lounge forums online for sharing these details to the public. Okay, let's start with the skin. The Raiders jacket was made out of lambskin, again just like the other films, except Crystal Skull, which is made of cowhide. But what made the Raiders lambskin stand out was its unique look. It featured striations and ribby markings across the chest panel. This is seen up close right before the flying wing fight. These ribby marks are the result from the ribs of the lamb itself. Originally, these were more subtle, but due to the harsh conditions during production, these popped out more. These are one of the key distinctions of the Raiders jacket. Now let's talk about the pattern and the fit. Among all the film jackets, the Raiders jacket was the baggiest looking one. It is known for its infamous ill-fitting look. It has an overhang which can make it look either short or long depending on the angle. It's got a relaxed fit with baggy sleeves and droopy shoulders as well. This was the result of the jacket being rushed for the production shoot. Despite this, it's got a unique overall look of an adventurer. It's got character and story in it. The Raiders jacket itself is as much as a character as Indy himself. It's a silhouette that'll come to your mind when you think of Indiana Jones. Well, besides the fedora. I believe that it's these quirks that give the Raiders jacket its charm, and why it is also sought after. It's no ordinary fitting jacket, but it surely is an iconic one, and when scaled properly to your proportions, it's a head-turner for sure. Alright, now so why Steel& Jones? I mean, there are so many other amazing vendors out there. There's Westhead, who back then was actually called Leather Concessionaires, who made the original jackets for Raiders and the Last Crusade films. I mean, most of our first indie jackets are usually a Westhead. We also got Bill Kelso, who creates a damn beautiful rendition of the Raiders jacket, which is their famous Relic Hunter. There's also Indy Magnoli, who creates a well-modern fit of the Raiders jacket. I believe that there's room and a market for each indie vendor out there. For me though, Steel& Jones stands out for a very special reason. For the past years, Steel& Jones have been researching and sourcing the best materials for their jackets. Then lo and behold, they were able to get an actual screen-used jacket from the film itself. Not a copy of a screen-used jacket, but the actual jacket itself. Because of this, they were able to study the kind of leather used, see the leather undertone, the hardware, the lining, and most of all, the pattern, which is the spine of the jacket itself, and other construction details that we can't see from the outside of the jacket. With all of these, they were able to replicate the truck jacket, which is the actual jacket they examined. With their new discoveries, they were able to update the pattern of their Cazadora 36. So last 2019, Steel& Jones released the truck jacket. The truck jacket is seen once Indy takes over the truck and gets shot in the arm, thrown through the windshield and hangs on the Mercedes-Benz star all the way until they secure the Ark and get back to Salas. This is not to be mistaken by the jacket which was being dragged under the truck though, which was a different stunt jacket. The truck jacket reveals different details from the hero version, but both still use the same pattern. These different details include less striations on the chest and a more textured back. The sides of the back panels and the pockets seem to have tape underneath that adds extra texture as well. It's an option you can avail for when you order a truck jacket from Steel& Jones. With these new discoveries and updates, it's definitely a game changer out there in the indie jacket market. Alright, so here's my jacket, and wow, did Steel and Jones hit it out of the park once again. I opted for the main hero version, with some light distressing. Another note that makes Steel and Jones stand out as well is that they're one of the few vendors out there that can distress your jacket to make it look like the way we see it on screen. The cool thing is that they distress it before they stitch it together, which makes it even better. So it's like getting a battle worn jacket that's actually brand new. It's more than just jacket making, it's a work of art. As you could see here, the leather's grain is outstanding. The striations in the chest panel are more subtle here than the first jacket I got, which was more extreme in the texture side. I think this is what the washed lamb of Wested wanted to pull off, so it's got subtle ribby and striation marks around without looking like a uniform pattern. I really think that this captures what we see on screen very well. The pockets are cut beautifully as well scalloped and done right. The collar here resembles how it looked like on screen. Wow, I mean, look at that grain. It captures what we see when Indy steps into the light when he is introduced. For the lining, I chose to go for an all brown cotton lining. There's another option for this which is more screen accurate, but I actually wanted something a little sturdier. I also picked the accurate prong buckles, just the way it was done on screen. The prongs are quite sharp though, but this is what holds the strap in place. There's a chance though that this could pierce through lambskin, which is why I decided to invert it to be safe. Doing this counters the screen accuracy choice, but I'm still happy to have the vintage black British buckles being shown. Mine's got some wear on it already because of the pliers I used to invert the prongs, but it adds character to the jacket. At the end of the day, it comes down to your preference and how you want to wear it. The back panel of the jacket has an interesting texture as well. We could also see here that depending on the lighting, the distress marks could vary from a red tone to a light brown one. Alright, so I went for a more relaxed modern fit for this jacket compared to my first one. My first one was more of how a traditional leather jacket should fit. Snug at the body, slimmer sleeves, and ends just within the waist area. I had a tough time to get my hands in the hand warmer pockets though. Because of this, I wanted to have the option to switch to something more versatile. As I mentioned, I opted for a more relaxed fit which I could easily layer with, which still retains the screen accurate look of the jacket. Diego recommended me to size up from a 36 to a 38. I also asked for a longer back length so that I could wear it with my shirt untucked as well. The end result was exactly how I see the Raiders jacket on screen. Sizing up gave it the roomier and relaxed fit we see in Raiders. Layering with it was so much easier. I could easily wear it with just a shirt or a sweater, or with a lightweight jacket. I had a better range of motion as well. Now let's discuss the quirks of the Raiders jacket. One of the quirks of the Raiders jacket was the droopy shoulders as it could be seen here. It's wider, giving it a more oversized and relaxed look compared to your traditional leather jackets. So the shoulder droop in my jacket is in between 2 inches and 2.5 inches, so between those two. And depending how I wear the jacket, it shifts. Sometimes it'll look right just below the shoulders, sometimes a little longer. So that also has something to do with the wonky pattern of the Raiders jacket. We could see this quirk in the film during the Jovitos temple scenes, the night scene when Indy was wearing his jacket, and from some of the behind the scenes material. Now the overhang that contributes a lot to the ill-fitting look. Okay, so usually a leather jacket's shoulder seam should be aligned with your shoulder, but that's not the case here. As you could see here, the shoulder seam doesn't really align where the shoulders should actually be. It actually falls a little back. This is where you'll hear the term off the shoulders when it comes to the Raiders jacket. So this is the main reason the jacket slides off the back. I mean, there are times it can look longer, times it can look shorter, and it also adds to the droopy shoulder effect. The sleeves I have are quite roomy as well. Not too baggy, but definitely not slim, just like how it was in the Temple of Doom, for example. There's been debate to whether or not the Raiders jacket had slim sleeves or not. This is probably due to Wested's hero pattern, where the sleeves turn out to be really tapered due to the wider shoulders. But in reality, if you look up close in the film, Indy's sleeves weren't slim at all. If it was tapered, probably slightly from the shoulder point to the cuff, but if you look at scenes where he reaches out or holds items, the sleeves are definitely baggy. This is evident when he's about to grab the idol and when he is examining the headpiece in Imam's house. Depending on the measurements you give to Diego, you can opt for slimmer sleeves or a regular relaxed one. Again, it boils down to preference and your body type. So there's no right or wrong. Whichever you think would fit your body, go for it. Another quirk would be the zipper. There's no leather facing in a zipper, which means it tends to have this wavy look and it doesn't stay straight. Originally, the jacket was made with aluminum zippers as well. It ended up being too shiny on screen though that they had it painted brass. The paint didn't stay on well though during production, which showed different colored zippers depending on which scene. The zippers in this jacket though seem to capture a sweet spot of both the aluminum and the brass color, which is a subtle yet great touch. Now for leather care. Diego doesn't really recommend conditioning the jacket since it can darken the color and can take away the distressing artwork. Depending on the conditioner, it can also clog the pores of the leather, which actually helps it to become more water resistant. I actually got caught in a mild rain shower while wearing this one time. I took the opportunity to bunch up the sleeves and to create the sleeve wrinkles, just like how Indy's jacket is. I noticed though after bunching the sleeves and flexing my arms in the jacket, the sleeves got distressed too, creating more character. So take note that this leather easily distresses too, but boy is it stronger and heavier than your usual lambskin. The arm distressing from the bunching sort of stood out more than I intended it to, so I decided to condition it a bit. Sorry Diego. Conditioning it slightly blended it in better but not too much. It also helps to nourish the jacket. I used the Red Wing leather cream in one spot which actually didn't darken the leather at all. Red Wing users would know this. So this could be used as a conditioner for those who don't want the distressing work to disappear. I tested some mink oil in one portion and this made the distress marks blend in a little more with the jacket itself. So yes, mink oil darkens it and it can take away the distressing job on the jacket. So keep this in mind. It won't kill the leather jacket if you get caught in some rain, but it definitely isn't meant for this. But hey, it's still an adventure jacket. Another note if you're gonna order a jacket, not all jackets would end up having the same leather features. My first jacket featured more striations and ribby bumps, but my second one is smoother yet it is much more grainy. As Diego emphasizes, and I quote him, we are talking about the very same leather batch, same kind of animals, same color, same thickness, same tannery process, but some skins have a more pronounced ribby texture than others, because no animal is exactly identical to the other. No clone sheeps here. Steel & Jones has a particular process when you get a jacket from them. They'll ask you to look for a similar looking jacket to the Indy jacket, or your most comfortable fitting jacket. From there, they'll ask you to take measurements. Do keep in mind though, they don't copy the pattern of that jacket being measured. They merely use it as a starting point and as a guide. They also ask for photos of you wearing that jacket so that they could see what adjustments are to be made. Communication is a breeze. Diego is a professional and he knows his craft. His patience is actually as big as that boulder from the Jovitos temple as well. He understands that ordering online can be nerve-wracking, so he guarantees you everything will be okay. Now the big question. Which is the best jacket out there? We have so many vendors offering different kinds of options at different price points. Some more screen accurate, Some not 100% accurate, but it does the job. For me, I would say the best fitting jacket on you would be the best. But then again, as this is objectively true, the indie jacket doesn't really fit like the traditional leather jackets that we are used to. There are so many factors to key in when it comes to fit. Some would go for traditional, some would go for casual, some would go for 100% screen accurate, some would go for screen accurate yet mix it with the casual look. So, with these laid down, I'd say the best jacket is the jacket that makes you feel great and confident. I mean, we want to look good so that we could feel great. That's why we want to wear these in the first place. Not only are these cosplay pieces, but these are investments as well. The indie jacket makes a great casual jacket if not in gear. These jackets are going to take care of us on our own adventures out there, be it in your everyday errand duties or on travel vacations. It's versatile, yet it has a unique design. If your goal is to get the most screen accurate one, then objectively, Steel & Jones is your best bet. But wait, does that mean the other jackets are inferior? Definitely not. It all depends on what you want and what you deem screen accurate enough as well. In headcanon wise, say Indy was real, then most likely his jacket would be made of goat or kangaroo, due to how robust it is. It's a hide that would need to protect him during his missions. So if that is accurate enough for you, then by all means go for it, then that's a perfect one for you. But if you want screen accurate, meaning what you actually see on screen and what was used in production, then you'd want to go for lambskin. As I mentioned earlier, everything boils down to your preference. You'll just have to figure out what you want. With all of these, Diego's best tip for me was to enjoy the jacket, wear it, enjoy it. I had the tendency to be extra worried about the small details like what if the prongs will scratch the leather, or the straps aren't 100% even in length. Diego then told me it's an indie jacket, it's meant to be worn out for adventures. Which makes sense. The more you wear it, the more likely it will get scratches and all of that. But that's the beauty of it. That's what adds character to the jacket, and most importantly, that's what makes it your jacket. I hope this video opened your eyes more about the indie jacket, especially on Steel & Jones's Cazadora 36. Do check Steel & Jones out. Not only do they make the jackets, but they also make the hats as well. Custom measure. If you want to know more about the jackets and their hats, just go send them an email. Or you could check out the Club Obi-Wan forums online. This is the best place you can go to for all your indie gear related inquiries.